Revisiting 21, 11th of November 2025. Reading back my notebooks 1 and 2, I returned to and reminisced on being 21. Revisiting my younger self and seeing what and how I thought, being able to also see the texture of my mind in a sense. I had such a chip on my shoulder about being another useless to the world young male, wanting to be seen and respected. You're 21, dude. The world doesn't hate you. You're just not good at anything yet. Relative to a woman's perceivable value at 21, there's quite the disparity between ex-woman being hot and essentially wanted for that, even if shallow, and myself being close to being able to provide nothing of decent value. Of course that isn't fair to a 21-year-old's mind, thinking if he was born the opposite gender, he'd be valued just because he was born as such, wanting to be valued and essentially matter to people or the world. When you know you don't, changing that becomes the goal. To self-improve. I was easily influenced by self-improvement content creators. I never fell for their grifts, but still used some of their useful content to actually self-improve. But I achieved escape velocity away from such a delusionally selfish valuing of my own worth as what it in the future could be. That may be true in a way with what's measurable to some degree, but it's self-centeredly egotistical. I more or less fell into that way of thinking just by being prone to it as a 21-year-old man. I'm glad I don't think in that way of value judgment of better and worse worth of a person anymore. I'm not fundamentally better or worse than anyone. I may measurably be in X ways, but so what? It only really matters to the self of being better than who you were. I'm measurably living better than a smacky on the streets, but measurably living worse off than a successful businessman free of worrying about money. That doesn't change the fact that we're all just people. That chip on your shoulder of seeking respect and validation masquerades as becoming great. With that, I think I resented the world in a way because of it. The perceivably at the time unfairness of just existing as a young man. I eventually learned to understand it with the more I learned in life, even though I'm only 25 now. At the time though, I think in some ways because I couldn't get what I wanted, I taught myself to want what I could get, particularly with dating. Fucking hell, there's some shit I want to tear out and burn to nothing from those notebooks. Contextually or not to this also. I'd say I didn't want to do the casual relationship thing of low quality hooking up or whatever, but at the same time say I didn't want a full-time commitment to a relationship with someone because I need the time for myself to become great, yet still expecting both of us to be fully invested somehow. I didn't understand what I wanted, yet in hindsight of it, dude, you're just not ready for it. The uncommittal in between of short-term casual and committed long-term relationship just doesn't work when you want the time aspects of the former and the connective faithful investment of the latter. There's probably a small percentage of people out there who can make that work, but at 21, I don't think so. Even now, more or less having the same sort of situational thing, it's still a struggle for me to draw some lines in the sand to do with this. I'm in some way returning to that uncommittal in between. It somehow feels different though to back then, or is it just my ego telling me that? Even if, truthfully, I am emotionally and capably available to commit to a long-term relationship now, logistically with what I want to do with my life, with this idea for a career I want to build, I just can't realistically invest that much into that relationship to make it work. I don't know. All anyone wants is love. Yet if I have it, what it takes to keep it probably wouldn't allow me to succeed in building this personal career venture. In a general sense anyways, in what would constitute a generally normal long-term healthy relationship. Something like that. Sacrificing the thing that you want for the thing that's supposed to get it. I think doing so though in a full circle way by then achieving having it again, you have a version of it more refined or right/meant for you, if that makes sense. Contextually to this, to have someone who loves me for who I am to them, or to do that sacrificial revolution and have someone who loves me for who I am to myself. Authenticity. Yet that latter perceivably better for you thing doesn't come without that sacrifice and successful revolution of the pursuit. Anyways, being delusional as a 21-year-old about becoming better serves its purpose. Even if being delusional is inherently wrong, I'm questioning its value given that it can move the needle. Would it be worth somehow deluding myself in some way? More or less emotionally charging myself to make progress with doing the thing even if it's not any good for other aspects in my life? Delude myself with a higher sense of self-efficacy? More or less inflating my own ego in a narcissistic sense, thinking I'm the fucking man for doing the thing and in turn doing the thing to feed that. Yet being seen by others as a twat and eventually then by myself, it moves the needle. This whole journaling and revisiting my earlier writing thing is pretty fucking cool. I mean, me now at 25 smiling at 21-year-old me's naivety is fucking rich. Knowing that old geezer me in the future probably thinks 25-year-old me is that same retarded kid and laughing at that. This whole concept is just awe. Being able to relive my life. Fuck. Geezer me is probably telling me to stop being a bedroom philosopher and go and actually live, but at the same time thanking me for it. Bit egotistical in some way, but hey. If/when you're reading this, old me, what up you old fuck? Hope you're well. Hope the missus is well. Hope you lived fully. Yours truly, because I am you. Self-centered, naive, 21-year-old retard. Capitalized for full effect.